Did Wu Lei just confirm his feelings for Zhao Lusi? Not with headlines or declarations, but with quiet actions that speak far louder than words. Tonight on News, we explore the glances, the timing, and one remarkably subtle gesture that sent the internet into a delighted frenzy. Before we dive in, a brief note: we'll discuss public appearances, media reports, and fan interpretations. Unless clearly stated, these are unconfirmed and should be treated as speculation. Now picture the scene: a packed venue, cameras clicking, a question tossed lightly from the floor. The moment Zhao Lusi's name appears, something shifts, almost imperceptibly. Wu Lei's expression eases, his tone softens, and a hush of curiosity rolls through the crowd. Later, an accessory is noticed, a bracelet that appears strikingly similar to one Zhao Lusi recently wore. Coincidence? Perhaps. A stylist's Quasse? That too. Yet for many, it feels like a whispered message, a nod only the attentive would catch. Add to that a sentence that lingered in the air: some connections don't need words, and audiences began to wonder, are we witnessing something tender, steady, and real? Stay with us. The last 2 minutes may change how you read their story, forever. What truly ignited the conversation was not volume, but gentleness. At a recent public event, Wu Lei was asked a simple, almost routine question that happened to mention Zhao Lusi. His answer wasn't a revelation, his demeanour was. There was warmth in the cadence of his voice, an unmistakable care in the way he shaped each syllable. For viewers in their 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, this felt familiar, the language of respect. Later that evening, a detail emerged from the photographs: a bracelet, silvered and understated, echoing the design that fans had seen on Zhao Lusi days prior. It might be nothing. It might be everything. What matters is how audiences received it. In East Asian public culture, understatement can be an art. In the West, we read subtext through body language. Both lenses arrived at the same place: kindness, perhaps affection, but certainly restraint. Rather than feeding a frenzy, Wu Lei's conduct cooled the temperature and raised the tone. The moment became less about gossip and more about character, about how two professionals carry themselves when watched by millions. If confirmation requires a headline, we don't have it. If it requires a pattern of grace, the evidence is compelling. 2 lines, separate yet strangely harmonious, traveled across platforms with unusual speed. First, Wu Lei's gentle reflection: some connections don't need words. Then, shortly after, Zhao Lusi's quiet note: some stories write themselves, even when we don't speak. For romantics, the pairing felt like a duet; for skeptics, a coincidence neatly wrapped in timing. The truth may rest somewhere in between, but the effect was undeniable. Mature audiences understand how understated language can hold a world of meaning. The suggestion of closeness, without theatrics, respects the dignity of personal boundaries while allowing room for sentiment. To keep our discussion balanced, let's borrow a simple framework: a fact versus feeling meter. On the fact side, we have public words, authenticated posts, and time-stamped appearances. On the feeling side, we interpret tone, pairing, and atmosphere. Holding both simultaneously prevents us from overreaching, yet allows us to appreciate the poetry of restraint. This, perhaps, is why the lines resonated. They didn't insist. They invited. They let viewers of every age fill the space with their own memories of subtle affection: a hand brushed at a doorway, a smile saved for one person in a crowded room. The internet noticed, and quietly nodded. Months before bracelets and quotes, there were smaller, earlier breadcrumbs. Interviews where Wu Lei praised Zhao Lusi's professionalism, not in grand strokes, but with the kind of specificity that suggests careful attention. A comment from Zhao Lusi about feeling safe when working with him, a single word, but a powerful one. Safety is a promise without noise. On social media, some observed posts that shared a similar mood: sunlight and moonlight, warmth and reflection, a thread of optimism that seemed to travel between accounts. None of this, on its own, proves romance. Taken together, it sketches a portrait of trust. For many viewers, especially those balancing families and careers, trust is the cornerstone that truly matters. Consider also the business reality. When two talents connect with audiences, brands take note, pairing them for campaigns, interviews, or staged moments that keep interest high. That can blur lines. Good chemistry sells, and artistry can mimic intimacy. Yet the consistent tone, never loud, rarely defensive, often gracious, has become the quiet signature people recognize. Whether the bond is friendship, gentle courtship, or simply the natural rapport of two professionals, the long view reveals a pattern of steadiness. And in a world addicted to noise, steadiness feels extraordinary. Strip away the headlines and the hashtags, and you find two young professionals navigating a relentless industry with uncommon composure. The most striking feature of this story is not a dramatic declaration, but the absence of one. Silence, used thoughtfully, can be respectful. Viewers in the 35 to 75 range often appreciate boundaries, because they know the cost of living without them. The tenderness here, if tenderness it is, arrives through conduct, the way Wu Lei answers with courtesy, the way Zhao Lusi protects the privacy of her moments, the way both avoid provoking a circus. There is a lesson in this, and it reaches beyond celebrity. You can love your work, admire your colleagues, and still keep parts of your life gently folded away. That's not secrecy, that's stewardship. It leaves space for the people involved to grow, to breathe, and to decide. Perhaps that is why the public response has been so warmly engaged. People recognize the courage it takes to maintain civility when the world keeps asking for more. Whatever you believe about their relationship, the shared value is clear. Kindness before spectacle, respect before rumor. It's not merely a narrative about two stars. It's a reminder of how to be. Confirmation is a demanding word. For some, it means a simple public statement. No riddles, no poetry, just yes or no. For others, it is the quiet accumulation of moments, the softened tone at an unexpected question, the accessory that feels like a signal, the sentence that lands with the weight of unspoken care. Our approach is straightforward. We celebrate what is visible, and we label what is interpretive. On one side, the We Know column, public appearances, remarks on record, widely documented timelines. On the other, the We Feel column, emotional readings, fan-made parallels, and that ineffable sense that two people move in sympathetic rhythm. Balanced this way, the conversation becomes less about guessing and more about gratitude, for craft, for character, for the chance to witness grace under pressure. Ethically, curiosity does not grant entitlement. No one owes us their private truth. But they can show us who they are through how they act. On that measure, both have been exemplary. If a definitive answer comes one day, it will not erase the beauty of these small, careful choices. If it never arrives, we are still left with something valuable, proof that gentleness travels further than noise.
Ledsviden Silenz.
From a craft perspective, extraordinary on-screen chemistry often blooms from trust, rehearsal, and mutual respect. It can look like love because good storytelling invites you to feel it. That's not deceit, that's art. From a legacy perspective, many older viewers care less about labels and more about example. Professionalism, kindness, and emotional intelligence. These are qualities we hope younger generations carry forward. If that is the confirmation you seek, it is already present, and abundantly so. From a community perspective, fandom can be a force for good. Instead of turning speculation into pressure, we can turn admiration into action. Supporting charitable causes the actors care about, championing respectful discussion, and modeling the same discretion we applaud in them. As a practical exercise, imagine a simple timeline: key public appearances, major interviews, notable posts. No loaded captions, no bold assertions, just the facts, neutrally arranged. Then ask the community, with courtesy, to add context.
You transform the comment section from a battleground into a library.
In doing so, you honor not only the people involved, but the shared experience of watching a story unfold with patience, grace, and hope.